Hey everyone, Adam here. This is the second set that Matt and I played last night, or whenever you see this, the night before I recorded this. This is going to be 9-ball. I'm again giving him 4 games on the wire. It's going to be a race to 9. We did put this one through Salado. At the start of this, my rating was 662. His was 505. We went into the Fire Rate app, and it said if I'm mild to hot, it would be a 4-game lead in a race to 9. So that's we decided to do. Was going to give him 5, but I wasn't feeling quite that generous. So anyway, let's go to the table, see what happens here. First thing I noticed, the rack is a little tilted to the left, so I need to, this is a note to myself, I bought some white pencils and I need to put a line on the table so we make sure that's good. I did not start this rack off well. I scratched. Corner ball did not go in. I think the corner ball not going in is a result of the rack. I will let the viewers decide. I have never asked this on this channel, but if you're interested in what we're doing here, give me a like and subscribe and all that kind of crap. I put this out here to get some videos so that I could go back in the future and look at my play and look at things like that. But it's grown to a whopping 92 subscribers, and I have hundreds and hundreds of videos, some with a couple thousand views on them. I don't know how that happened. But if you're interested in subscribing, I'm not going to be a YouTube creator on this channel. I have other channels for that, or one other channel for that for music, as you can see behind me. But starting off kind of rough here. I think Mac overthought himself. He was thinking of how to get back on the 2-ball because it didn't really go. I guess it went in the lower left. I would have probably did a different angle coming inside the 4. Again, Matt, I think you tensed up on that one, and that's why you missed. Left me far, but ball's in front of the pocket enough that should be workable. Although if I remember this, I almost missed it. Yeah, I hit it on the far left side of the pocket, and another 1/8 inch, I probably would have missed it. So here I have to go from the 2 to the 3 to the 4 to try to get on the 5 on the left side. Pretty much going to just do a stop, draw it a little bit back because that shot was longer. I didn't want to try to do too much on it. Here, if I hit the angles right, I can come around 3 rails to the top side of the 4. The 4 really only goes in the upper right. I don't want to mess around with anything else. And I hit this pretty good. I'm a little bit funny on it. I remember looking at what angle I had. I really want to kind of be right there to make the 5 in and then be there for the 6. I can't really float it down. I can't really stun it over. So instead I decided to kind of wrap it out of the corner, and I don't really recommend playing position this way. You'll see what I'm going to do here. The problem with what I'm doing here is that I don't have position until the cue ball stops rolling, essentially. Yeah, I can't really stun over because the 6 is right in the line of the 4. So now I'm talking about wrapping it out of the corner and kind of coming in between the 8 and the 6, or even the 5 and the 6, depending on how it works. And I got really, 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 really good on it. I don't recommend doing that. That was a rough angle to play, a rough way to play it, because you can go too far or not far enough very easily. You don't really have position until the last part of that shot. Here, I just kind of wanted to go over to play the 6 on the other side because I didn't want to hit the 8. I didn't want to have that come into play. Got a little bit off of it. I can still come 3 rails around underneath the 8, which is kind of touchy because if you hit this too hard, you can be right behind the 8 very easily. Probably should have played this a little bit differently. I mean, looking at it here, it looks fine. It looks like I did everything the way I wanted it to, which I did. But it was another ball rotation. I would have been behind the 8-ball with no shot in the 7. Here, just roll up a little bit for the 8. I wanted more angle on that. It looks like I'm dead straight in. I have a little bit of room, cheat the pocket just a little bit, come up with some top, just a hair right, and go over 2 rails for the 9. Actually, it looks like I hit that more just straight top. So I had a little bit more angle than I thought, which is good because you don't want to use side spin if you don't have to, even though almost every shot is played with side spin, but that's another topic for another day. And for Matt's miss on the off my dray break, I run out. Matt is up 4-1, and I'm marking it on Salado and on my fancy little marking thing. Got way into that break, hit it hard, got a nice pop on it. But I'm pretty straight on the 1, and I'm about to do something really stupid. I'm going to go get the short cue. And then instead of just doing something easy, taking my medicine on the 2, I'm going to try something dumb. And you're going to see me recreate Matt's shot from last game. And make the 9 ball. Okay, maybe not. But that was stupid. There's no reason to do that. I just should have taken something easier. Even if I had to do a rail first shot, but trying to punch it in like that never works. It never has and never will. And I don't know why we as pool players continue to do that. And you know who you are out there who do that. Because it's everyone. So Matt's looking here. He pretty much just has to make this ball, and he should have position on the 2, depending on if he plays any spin on it, he could be on the other, right or left side. He hit it well. Unfortunately, he got exactly the wrong angle to come back right into the corner. So here we're going to take a little bit more time and figure this out better. There's no real good way to get on the 6, so I'm pretty much playing for the 6-9 combo here. Kind of want to just stun this up table to get a better angle, better closer on the 3. From here, I can pretty much stop it, or come a little bit down, or even come out of the bottom rail and up a little bit. I want to be more straight in line. Yeah, come this way. Didn't realize I wasn't going to go that far on it, but now I can just pretty much draw it back with some lower right to kind of hug the right rail and give me a shot on the 6. And really with that combo angle, the 9 is right in front of the pocket. The 6 is a little off angle, but really anywhere on that side of the table from like the head spot on up, or foot spot on up, I'm pretty much fine. So quick game there. I did a stupid shot, Matt scratched, and 3-ball run and combo for the win. We're at 4-2. Didn't make the corner ball again, and didn't really get a shot. Looking back at what's about to happen, I should have done something differently here. I should have looked for some kind of safety. Although it's kind of tough. There isn't really a great safety. Suppose I could play the 1, chip it up to the top rail, come 2 rails, left rail, right rail, and below this wall of balls. That's probably the shot right here. Instead, I try to go for this combo, which isn't on by any means. And the way I hit it, that's going to sell out the game a lot of the times. Very, very much not happy with that shot. And I knew it as I was shooting it, after I shot it, and now. I think Matt's looking to see if the 3 passes between the 4 and the 6, or the 5 and the 6. Sorry, I did it again. These pool balls, the purple is the 5, the 4 ball is the pink ball. It is the, I don't know what he did there, but it's the Aramith Black set. I'm not sure what his plans were on that shot. If he thought it was going to come off differently or what, but he basically just pushed it right to the rail, and now he has a bank shot or a tough cut. Could try to play safe behind the 7, but that's really touchy. Could try to play safe, put the 2 ball to the top rail, put the cue ball down. If you can get past the 8, down below the 4 balls down here. The 8 is kind of a big ball for that, though. Knowing Maddie's shooting here, don't blame him. It's kind of a weird spot. Cross side in the left side pocket. Oh. He actually did do the safety that I said, but he didn't really mean to. He was trying to cut it in the corner. Got the double point and got me pretty well. I'm like 3/4 of the ball snookered on this 2-ball. Now watch this shot, because Matt wasn't watching this. Matt, this is the one you're supposed to watch, by the way. I only really have one thing I can do. I suppose I could go a rail or two at it, but I decided to just masse off the back rail into the 2 and then just see what happens. Hit it pretty hard because I wanted to do it. Hit the 8s, and look at that. And I'm laughing pretty hard because that was 100% luck. And Matt he doesn't really have a good way to go at this ball. He just heard me laughing, turned around and saw this. And gave me like the what the heck are you doing to me here? He can't one rail kick at the 8's in the way. He could go top rail and straight back down, but there's going to be no separation. He does have a chance of making both the 2 and the 9 if he does that. Just going straight up and down by where I am. That's hard to gauge. Looking at it, that might be the way to go. You could go off the side pocket point here and back, but that's probably not a realistic shot. I may or may not have done that in matches before, but not very often. I think looking at this table, even though I'm terrible at it, going straight up and down the middle, trying to hit the 2 smack in the middle is the best way to go. He's taken my second choice, or my first choice at the time, going 2 rails right at it. And didn't miss by that much. I mean, it was a couple balls width, but I think the 2 rail is the best. I don't know how to word this. The 2 rail is probably the safest shot. The 1 rail is probably the best to try to make something and get something out of it. The 2 rail, a lot of things can happen because the cue ball is moving really hot. It hits that ball. It can spin back up table, not leave a shot. If he wants to try to make something, I think the 1 rail is the best. So here I'm in kind of a weird spot because the 3 goes on the side. I wanted a little bit more angle on it. And what I think I can do here is I think I can play this on the side, spin off the left side of the 6 ball, and get the 5 on the right side. Instead, yeah, I'm not happy with the angle on it because I don't really like what's going on. So that was my plan in my mind, was hitting this in the side pocket, spinning off the left side of the 6, and then playing the 5 in the right side, and I should have a shot in the 6 ball. Instead, I hit the 6 on the right side of it, and I left myself this goofy combo, and I have no chance. I have no choice but to take it now. It's not terrible, but in a table layout like this, you really don't want to take combos if you don't have to. I know a lot of players are going to say, this looks easy, just take it, you made it, fine, win. But if we're talking percentages, I think the combo percentage is maybe 75 and the run out is maybe 85. I'm taking a guess. Here, I don't make the corner ball again. You can see the rack is still tilted, but I didn't make the 1 on the side. I do have a shot on the 2 with a pretty big pocket with the 6 there if I miss it horribly. 3 ball does not, maybe it does go up in the upper right. I don't think it does. Yeah, I hit that one pretty bad, and I got just a great bounce off the 6 to put the 3 just right in line for. That was terrible. It's just next. Go to the next shot and see what happens. Here, I kind of want to just play a ball or 2 in front of the 5 so that I get a good angle on the 4 to spin out of that corner to go at the 5 in the lower left. So the 4 is going in the upper left. Cue ball is going to go between the 8 and the pocket, 2 rails out. Speed is touchy on this, as you'll see in a second. I hit that pretty hard, and I'm going right at the 5, and I got kind of lucky that I didn't get on the 5. I'm still at a goofy angle now. I don't really have a way to draw it back. I don't think I can get it. I don't think I can draw it enough to avoid the 7 in the side pocket. So I'm playing this with kind of a right spin, so it's going to be inside. Try to spin below the 9 ball and back out. Instead, I get right on the 9 ball and I have no shot at all. And I think maybe a little bit of draw on the 5 would have cut the angle off to the rail, made it come out a little bit better. Instead, I just kind of line this up and take a whack at it. And not a very good whack at it either, and scratch. That is not double ball in hand. We were talking about having like a ball in hand coupon you can use to you redeem it at future dates. So here I would it looks easy because you're looking at 4 balls and they're all spread out, but it's kind of a weird situation here. He really wants the cue ball where the 9 ball is for the 7, because then you can come back 1 rail, hit the 2nd rail, and come into the line of the 8. The problem is the 9 ball is there. You don't want to try to go towards the 9 ball, so he's going to end up being pretty straight on the 7 unless he plays. What he probably should have done here is stunned over, gotten in line with the 7. What I mean is the 7 is almost on the diamond. He wants to be in line up and down the table with the 7, so that you can play it then 3 rails around. Basically that, but you want the cue ball, instead of being on this side of the 2nd diamond, to be on this side of the 1st diamond. Then you can come 1, 2, 3, and on the other side of the 8, wrapping it out of that corner. Now he was saying if he plays upper right, he should come pretty much back. He's pretty straight here. And I said if you play upper left, you can spin and hit it pretty hard. You can spin out of that pocket 2 rails, and you're going back to pretty much where the chalk is on the left side rail there. And again, I mean, we talk ideas all the times during our games, and we have the understanding that I'm never ever going to be upset or question him if he does what is right in his mind, because confidence is the number one thing, and I could shoot a shot completely different than he does. I'm glad he decided to go with his gut and shoot it the way he was going to shoot it. He just needed more on this ball. It was a little pokey, a little stabby. You really wanted a nice follow through on that to get more follow, so it kind of shoots off the rail and comes back up. He's stuck here. You really kind of have to go for the bank here. You can do the crazy Josh Filler 3 rail in the side, 2 rail around at the cue ball kind of thing if you want. I don't think the 8's going to go in the side because of the 9. We won't even talk about that shot. If anyone's seen that shot, you know what I'm talking about. Just happened in the UK Open. So basically just shoot this 1 rail down in the right corner and hope it goes in. And I thought he had it. And then I thought he had it back up this way. All in all, not terrible because of where the cue ball landed. I know I have to go right for the short cue here. I have a couple shots I can do. I can play the 8 2 rails down to the upper part of the table, like in the middle, and play the cue ball down below the 9. I can do the same with the 8, but I decided just to go for it here. Sink it. Get a decent shot on the 8. Or on the 9. It's not a great shot on the 9, but it's pretty routine. I can either follow this straight forward out of the corner, or I can draw it back. I decided to follow it. Center pocket, swish. And it is now a race to 5. We are tied at 4 games apiece. Thanks to two early combos, and then that game that got away from Matt here. Now this is this is my ideal break for 9 ball, where the cue ball spots right in the middle of the table, 1 ball comes around 3 rails for a shot, and then everything else is wide open. The only real issue here, and it's a pretty big one, is the 7 ball, getting from the 6 to the 7. And as you see here, that isn't even going to be an issue. So here what I wanted to do, I decided instead of messing with that, I wanted to get on the 3-9 combo, because the 9 is basically sitting right there. And if I get like center table, bottom rail, I have the shot. Ideally, it would want to be right there. So a little bit, if we're talking 2 2/3 diamond, 1/3 diamond, or 1 2/3 diamond, depending on how you're counting, left to right or right to left. Instead, I don't know what I did here. I don't have an explanation for it. I don't know if I changed my mind in the middle, because I didn't play that anywhere. But now it looks like bank the 3, play the carom into the 9. 3 could go in, 9 could go in. I really don't have anything else to do. The 3 doesn't go by the 6. And I don't know how I missed that. Now, I did play the cue ball way up table on purpose, or I did play it at that speed on purpose to get the cue ball up table just in case I missed, to be safe. And it worked out. I mean, Matt doesn't have a pocket for the 3 right now. This turns into a weird game. You know, what was looking as a, you know, easy out to the 6 and then you have to deal with getting on the 7. Maybe the 7 went in off the 9. I don't think it did because I think the 9 was further down. Now is turning into this weird... It's always a weird game when the 9 ball is sitting in front of a pocket. So he actually tried to bank it and almost kicked it in, which is kind of amazing, and that was a great shot. But yeah, you would be better off as like an amateur player in 9 ball if you ignore the ball in the corner or in hanging in the pocket and just go for the run out on the table than you would if you actually tried to make it, because so many weird things can happen. Like this, all I wanted to do was make the ball and get shape on the 4 and just play the rest of the table, and instead I didn't. Left the 3, you know, I missed the 3 by quite a bit. The bank actually looked pretty fine. I know a lot of people are going to look at that and say, why didn't you bank the 3 into the 9? Well, because we just had 2 misses right in a row. But maybe doesn't look as easy as it is. Now, he played this kind of weird. I don't know if he was playing to bring it back for the left side. But now he's in a weird spot here where there's no real pocket for the 4 unless he back cuts it, which sends the cue ball towards the 9, or tries to cut the 4 into the 9, which is not an easy shot at all. These pockets are not generous. I've said it in every video so far that I've done, but this is a Brunswick Glenwood 8-foot table with the pockets redone to be Diamond Pro Cut size and cut. So they're 4.5-inch corner pockets, 5-inch side pockets, same angles, and diamond rubber. So he actually ignored the 4 and went at the 9 and missed the 9. And then he left me in this weird spot where the 4 does not cut into the side. It does not bank because the scratch is like dead. It does not bank into the corner because the cue ball is going to scratch. I can't do like the YouTube shot where I 2-rail kick it into the side. It looks like it might go, but it really, I don't recommend doing that at all in a situation like this. So I'm talking about all the options that I have that don't work. In the end, I decided to try to bank it and cut the corner and bank it back into the side where I'm standing. And I actually overcut it, which seems wrong. Seems like if anything I should have undercut it, but yeah, we're just now we got 4 balls on the right side rail and the 8 ball just sitting in the middle of the table. The 9 ball does no longer goes in the side pockets, so we're not going to play hack at the 9 ball again. We already had 3 of those. So this is like your standard club 9 ball game. I think Matt tried to bank that. As it is, he got pretty good on it. You know, anytime you can leave distance like this in 9 ball, it's good. Now, everything in me wants to make me try to get this behind the 6, but instead I just go for the straight up and down table bank. And speed, I thought, was pretty good on that. I almost left it. Leaving it frozen to the top rail would have been the ultimate shot. Now here, I know a lot of people are going to want to bank this in the lower left. That actually may be what he does. He could do a similar shot to what I did, but I think he would have had to go further into the side rail. I might just go for this here. I think that's what he did. He double kissed it. That was a problem. Now, funny enough, he gets me perfectly safe because the double kiss shot the cue ball over to the right and the 4 ball went around the table. I can hit this. My plan here is to hit this extreme thin because I can see part of the 4-ball. I can see the extreme left side of the 4-ball. My plan is to hit this and have the cue ball come around 3 rails behind like the 8, 9, 7, and hopefully the 4 stops somewhere. Instead, we just play a game of chase, and the 4-ball chases the cue ball around the table. What I was hoping is to cut the 4-ball either more to the left or straight down to the rail so the cue ball goes past it, and 4-ball is maybe sitting, hits the rail, goes back to the middle, and I go up to the upper right. It didn't work, as you can see. Matt got a little funny on that one. He kind of jabbed at it, but again, he left the cue ball in a spot where, because of the way the 4-ball went at it, I don't have a shot. So I'm doing the standard 2-rail shot where you hit off the left rail, off the bottom rail. If the hits the 4 at the right angle and the 4 goes in, great. Otherwise, hopefully get separation when the cue ball comes off the 4-ball. 4-ball stays up table, cue ball heads down table somewhere. Instead, I hit underneath the 4 and almost kick bank it in the side. Almost being the key word there. Matt has a tough cut in the side, but it's doable. Position is pretty much guaranteed as long as you just play the shot so you don't scratch. So a little bit of draw, maybe a little bit of left spin. Hit it too hard, poked at it, and side pocket got him again. Now here, I don't really have a shot. I can try to cut this. Position will be natural on the 6. I'll go up and down the rail, and I could try to bank it and try to leave the cue ball behind the 6. I can try to do whatever that was. It wasn't terrible, but wasn't great. I don't really understand what I was trying. I think what I was trying to do is hit it, I don't know, maybe hit it towards more in the middle of the table where I bank it closer to the 7, but the 7 and the 9 is not a big window to try to go through on that. Maybe I was trying to bank it. I have no idea. I honestly can't tell you. He went for the cut. It was off the rail, so it's not an easy cut. He's been struggling a little bit, so it's understandable. Here, I just need to make this and play topspin to get clear of the 7 so I can play the 6. It doesn't really matter how distance on the 6. I'd rather take a longer shot than anything. I almost missed it again, similar to a ball that I had in the last match. And by the way, if you haven't seen, this is the second match of 3 that we played on Sunday, the May 20th or May 19th. And the first one is 8-ball. This is 9-ball. This one I just have to float up for the 7 on the side. I get a little goofy on the 8-ball. There's 2 ways to play this, a couple ways to play this. You can either, and if you're going to do the inside spin, which is what I'm doing here, I'm doing low inside. You can also do top inside, but I find the low holds the angle a little bit better. And if you play top inside and you let up on your stroke, you're going to scratch. So you really have to make sure you get into that. That's why I like the low inside a little bit. I got closer to the side than I wanted. Now I basically have to, and I'm still a bit straight, I have to follow this over and get the best I can on the 9. I want you to watch something really, really closely on this next shot because it's going to happen pretty fast. This happens every once in a while. Every once in a while, being 4 or 5 times a year. You see it? In my warm-up shot, I hit the cue ball with the cue stick. That is a foul in every game. Matt said he appreciated the honesty because, if you're not looking right at it, you're not expecting it. You're kind of, as an observer, you're kind of looking at the distance between the cue ball and the 9 and where the 9 is going to go and everything. And, but I'll call out on myself in a tournament, in a match, and everything. I'm not that kind of player who will just play it and then keep playing. I've seen arguments come out of that from people who know better, and that's not what pool's about for me. Took his time, he hit that nice, got down the rail, and I had already marked the game up. So if he missed that, that would have been awkward. But Matt's up 5-4 now. I don't know how he didn't scratch on that break. He hit it kind of, he saw his cue fly off to his left, our right. Corner ball went in fine, but kind of weird setup here. And we're gonna need to talk about pushouts. We don't play a lot of 9-ball in our leagues. In fact, there is a summer league coming up that's 9-ball, which I'm looking forward to. But otherwise, 9-ball is really just for fun. There is a push-out shot on the first shot in 9-ball if you're not playing what APA I think you can't, where you can play the cue ball anywhere you want. Hit it anywhere you want. You can make a ball. You can do anything except for fouling, which you can't scratch, can't knock it off the table. And then your opponent gets the choice to either shoot it himself or make you shoot it again. I'm not sure what he was looking at here, because he played this really, really hard and left basically a straight-in shot on the 1, which I'm going to take every time. A better push-out is to leave maybe half a ball, maybe leave a tough kick. Usually the person doing the push-out is the one taking the worst of it. So here he knows I'm going to play it, so he's just going to refill his water. Now what I'm going to do is I'm trying to play this back to where I was pointing, like by the second diamond on the right side rail, but I don't get into it great. I don't draw it back at all, and instead it comes down straight down the rail, and I think I'm going to be snookered on it, but it actually comes down far enough that I can hit the 2-ball. So looking at this, I can play the 2 off the 8 into the lower left, and then as long as I leave the cue ball there, I'm going to have a shot in the 4, where if I can't get on the 5 this way, I can follow all the way up and play the 5 on the side and then come back down for the 6. So everything looks really, like, it looks terrible at first, but as long as I can make this one shot, I should be out. And I make the one shot, I come off the 6, the 8 stays out of the way. I do not have the angle to be able to play the 4 and stay on the side for the 5 unless I draw it back. The problem there is I still have to clear the 7, and the window between the 7 and the 6 is pretty, like, I'm in it right now to be able to play the 5 all the way up. And remember, the 5 is the purple. But the 5 is also pretty close to the side. I don't want to really mess with that. So what I'm going to do here is I want to play this with some right and a lot of top. I want to play this in the upper right and then spin the cue all over to the left rail and the bottom rail over for the 5. It's a tight angle because I don't have a lot of room to cut it. And I didn't get that much right spin on it, so it was mostly top. Thing is I still do have the 5-ball past the, the cue ball does go past the 8, so I still have the 5. I can play this with upper right, come off the rail, spin the cue ball down below the 9, and get on the 6 just fine. The problem is we've been struggling on these side pockets all day, and I had the 3-point shot, and that's that. Now I'm going to fast forward and cut some stuff out, I think, here. Yeah, and Matt just kind of appears. So I cut that whole part out. He still has the ball where it was left, so he didn't lose any gameplay. I just cut out where he was. And unfortunately, he comes in cold, has a long kind of tester shot, and misses, but he leaves me in a weird, just goofy spot. Like the 5-7 combo kind of looks like it's on from here. It's not. The 5 doesn't bank, the 5 doesn't cut. I probably should have looked for a safety, but I kind of thought I could play the carom, or if I play some right spin and hit the 5 super thin, I can catch the 7 and cut it in. Instead, I missed, but I got him on the 5. I think he can hit part of the ball, but he can't make it for sure. So I'm happy at myself for the outcome, not happy for the result. I should have taken a better look at that and played a more controlled safety. I think what happens is I get in my head that you don't want to play a safety that sells out the game. So I figure I can go after a shot easier than I can make a safety, and I need to just get that thinking out of my head, because that's not always true. I mean, it is true that you don't want to play a safety that sells out the game, but sometimes safeties are easier. So he's just trying to clip this 5-ball, and I think he banking or something. He got a little jabby again. And then if the 5 didn't hit the 8, I think it was going to be safe, but it clipped the 8 just enough to leave it perfectly in front of the pocket. Now I'm going to play this one out to center table-ish. or in line with the 6-ish. Yeah, in line with the 6. When I say in line like this, I mean kind of straight up and down the table so I can come around 2 rails. Got a little bit of an angle on this. All I need to do is miss the 9 ball here. I should be good to get the 7 on the side. And then here, there's a number of different ways to do this. I can play short side on the 8. I can draw back for the 8. I can play, looks like I'm following into the rail to come out for the 8 in the upper right. Yep. Got a little short on it, but this is still very, very workable. What I want to do here is I want to play mostly top, spin around 2 rails, come before the side pocket on the top side of the side pocket, and get in line with the 9. Instead, I put a lot of right or left spin on it, which spun it out more in the middle than I want. I wanted it maybe a foot, we'll say a half a diamond over to the left as we're looking at it here, so I have more of a straight in angle on the 9. This is a pretty routine shot. This is, your standard 9 ball spot shot. I did not scratch, even though Matt's trying to will the ball in. And we're tied at 5. Another dry break. This was happening a lot, Matt. I think we got to talk about the rack. I don't think it's that the balls weren't tight. It's just if you look at it, it's tilted to the left here. I got to get that. My goal is to get that line on the table at some point. Just a straight line up into like a T right around the spot. I want to do a line at the head string too. Sometimes we play bank pool, and I play straight pool sometimes, and it's nice to be able to have that line to line up the balls on the spot. Also line up the rack because it's I use a number of different template racks. This one is the Teom Max rack. I also have the Magic rack. I have the AccuRack as well. I like the Teom the best of all 3. And I think Matt, he's been sitting down a lot and not really having any shots, not being able to get any rhythm, and that will cause problems in this game. I decide here that I need to use the short cue, and I give up. It is a nice short cue. It's a Predator short cue. It's made for either kids or a short cue. I think it's a 52-inch. It's weighted really well. I had a good tip put on it. I didn't like the tip they put on it from the factory. I had a good tip put on it. All I had to do there was worry about not hitting the 4 and scratching. And because of that, I missed the bank. But if you can see here, there's no shot. Like safety-wise, I think you can clip basically bank the 1 into the 7, 1 rail. So you bank the 1 off the left rail at maybe a diamond and a half, have it go into the 7, and then have the cue ball run up and down the table back to kind of where his chalk is right now, or really anywhere at that point. As long as you get behind the 1 ball, you're playing the 1 ball more than you are the 7 ball here. I think he's going for the combo, which isn't fun. Or he tried another kind of safety, which left me in the pocket. And this is not an easy shot either. I'm pretty much in the pocket here. 1 does not go past the 4. It kind of does go past the 9/8. Now what I decided to do here and what happened are 2 different things. What I wanted to do is I wanted to bank it, maybe hit the diamond on the right side of the table on the bottom rail. I was going to point, but that won't help. I need an annotation thing, and then have the 1 ball come above between the 8 and 6 and go up table, and the cue ball kind of hit the 4 and stop somewhere around there. Instead, I hit the 8 with the cue ball, or with the 1 ball, and I left it here. So cue ball was perfect there. All the 1 ball needed to do was drift up between the 8, miss the 8, and drift up between the 8 and the 6. So he has a number of options here. He can bank at this into the 5. He can bank at this back by him. He can bank it pretty much straight over, like at the 9/4, and bring the cue ball up table, going maybe towards the 3-2-7 somewhere in there. And he chose the bank back, which is a great shot. That was a pretty good angle, but now he got stuck on the 2 ball here. Now, safety's here because everything's kind of running out. of room. Safeties are going to be a little tougher. You're on the same, NESD is a short cue. You're on the same side of the table as the 3. I think going for it is probably the right decision here, going for the cross-side bank in the right side pocket. He has a wider stance than I do, so the wall does get in the way. Home field advantage, I guess. I don't know. And he hit it real well, but he got a huge stroke on it and got all the English to take, all the follow to take right off the rail, and it went straight in the pocket. So that was, I want to say that's unlucky because he shot the shot really well. He put a really good stroke into it, which unfortunately didn't help him in that situation, which we're laughing at that because we've been talking about mechanics and stroke and technique and things like that. Here, everything looks pretty open. I just have to get on the 5 to be able to get to the 6, back over to the 7, and then the rack plays itself. It sounds easy. If I do it like this, it might not be because I'm a little bit... No, actually, this is pretty good. I'm pretty straight. Having the cue ball where it is right now would be fine. Having it a little bit up table, maybe 6 inches or so would be fine too. So I'm just going to draw this back and try to get a good angle on the 6. Yeah, like right here is pretty good. Actually, more angle would be even better because what you can do is you can do 2 rails, right rail, left rail, and then in line with the 7. Instead, I just took a little bit off, went kind of straight at it because I didn't think from that angle, I didn't think I could actually do the 2 rail shot. Now here, what I really need to start doing on these shots, so first I need the other extension. What I first really need to do on these shots is make sure I do 2 rails. I want to hit the top rail, the bottom rail come in line with the 8. On a fast table like this, there's no way you should try to hold this for playing the 8 in the lower left, just because the table is going to be too fast and the rail's too bouncy. But I held it, but I didn't hold it. I held it the wrong way. Imagine if I hit the bottom rail and came back up another couple feet, I'd have a much easier shot on the 8. As it is right now, the 8 is straight in, and all I have to do is a stop shot, but because I'm on the rail a little bit, I have to jack up a little bit. When you're shooting these shots, all you should be focusing on is shooting the cue stick straight through the ball. Get everything lined up, and then just shoot the cue stick straight through the ball. And I did, and I missed by a 1/4 inch. Probably 1/2 inch if I wanted to get full, center pocket. But and then I have my perfect leave on the 9, obviously, because I was playing a stop shot. But that was a little rough. It kind of stems back from not getting enough angle on the 6 to be able to get better on the 7, and then not playing the correct shot on the 7 to be able to get on the 8. But live and learn. I mean, that's what this game is all about. Matt had a really good shot there. He almost got too far into it, but I think if he misses here, we would have probably just stopped. You wouldn't have seen this video because he got so good on this, and it's good to see that he's taking his time. I kind of make jokes that I one-stroke shots like this a lot, and I've seen people miss them doing that. So every shot should be the same thing. He actually came a little bit high in the pocket. On the left, or on our left side, his right side of the pocket. So he's up 6-5. Here he gets a really good break. He hit it a lot lighter than I usually do, which is fine. I mean, everyone has their own thing. But the 1 ball came around in a really good spot. The issue here is getting on the 2. There's a couple ways to do it. You can play basically top with just a tad of right. Come off the top rail, hit the right rail at like the 2nd or 3rd diamond below the side pocket, and come down for the 2. I kind of like wrapping this with lower right out of the pocket. It hits kind of where his chalk is up there, and then it comes around and then goes below the 8 ball. His way is probably better if he doesn't hit the 5 ball. My way would have sent the ball into traffic. His way was going for this channel between like the 5 and 6. The problem is, I don't think he got either too much right or not enough top, and he he wanted to hit the side rail below the side pocket is basically what he needed. Good idea, just a little. I mean, and we're talking half a tip of spin either way, either right or top. Not talking about missing a shot by 2 feet or anything like that. Even though he missed his mark by a couple feet, that's all just to position. So now he's gonna have to kick at this. If you kick right, it's right on the rail, so it's hard to do the 2-rail kick if we're not pros. You kind of kick right at it and hope it goes up table somewhere, like that. And unfortunately, if it would have gone right in between the 5 and 7, I think it would have been, or the 4 and 7, I think it would have been fine. But unfortunately, he tagged that 7 and the 2 ball just stopped. Because if he would have gone right in between there, it would have gone up table all the way to the top rail. If it would have gone past the 7, it would have hit off the rail and gone somewhere. Good hit, kind of unlucky with the results. Here I'm looking at the angle on the 4. So I pretty much just want to stun we'll play this in the upper left, the 2 ball, and then stun over in that gap between the 7 and 6. I can play the 4 in the lower left, and then I can play the 5 in the upper right. Just like that. Don't want to get too much, don't want to get too little. Just getting right in between those balls is like a goalpost situation is good. Here, I don't want to try to do anything too much, so I'm going to take the short position on the 5. Kind of float in there, just leave a little bit of angle to try to get off the rail, which I kind of have. It might be a little close. Issue that I have is the 7 does not go past the 8 or past the 9 on the side. I don't know if it goes in the lower left past the 8 ball. So I'm probably looking at playing this in the upper left corner, the 7 ball that is. So I need to get an angle on the 6 to be able to get there. I popped that one off really nicely. So basically I just have to look at where my line is. Now you can't see it. You kind of can. If you see between the spot and the 7 ball, there's a line. That's from breaking. That's kind of the burn mark of the cue ball popping off the rack and coming back. If I get in that line, that happens to be right near the side pocket. So I can get like right on the spot or right in line with the spot. Giving away trade secrets here. Got a little too far, but that's fine. Getting a little too far is better than getting not far enough on that shot, I think. And now it's like stop, stop, stop. Almost missed that. Playing it at pocket speed though, hitting it, sliding it off the rail. Now, this shot was weird to me. In my mind, I'm playing for the 9 in the side. I underhit it. I got a perfect angle on the 9 in the corner, and the 9 in the side is kind of a weird blind angle, especially since we've been having problems with these side pockets. But I take it anyway, and this time I become victorious. But if you see the way the ball went in, it went in, it didn't hit the side, the far facing, it went in clean, and that was the smallest angle possible. Here I got really into the follow off the break and follow the cue ball down where I don't want it. I want it more in the middle. Now granted, I don't know if I have a shot on the 1 anyway. If I'd have left it in the middle with the 5 and the 7 there. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to do a kick and stick where I'm kicking the 1 ball up to the top rail, right rail, and out, and leaving the cue ball there behind like the 5 and the 7. Instead, I hit it a little too thin, and bam, it goes right into the pocket. That's actually a pretty common result for that kind of kick. And I knew it, and it was so close I didn't know if I could do anything about it. And then I scratched again by throwing the ball in there. But again, you can't have there's no such thing as a ball in hand coupon that you can redeem at a later date. So Matt needs to get a leave on this 2 ball that he can come around the 8 for the 3 ball. So he wants to be, if he could land on like 3 inches above the spot, right in the middle of the table there, of the foot spot. So above the 9, he would be perfect. What I think he should do here is I think he should play the 1 either in the side or the lower right corner and follow it down. And he knows where he needs to go, and he's moving it around because he's worried about the scratch in the side. And I'm laughing because think he's overthinking things because he's been running bad. I mean, he's missed some shots. He's gotten some unlucky stuff from me. Finally thinks he has the right angle, and the plan is now to spin it off the point and come out. Unfortunately, he jabbed at it, and the tangent line took the ball right into the corner, or right into the side. So I think Matt playing ball in hand, yeah, and I think I showed him, play it so you just follow the cue ball down. I think you're on a much better line then. And here I'm essentially putting the cue ball where he should have had ball in hand. Now I would have been, from the one ball angle, he can't get this close. He would have been 3 inches to the right or whatever, but this is essentially what you want. Want to make this and not hit the 8 ball. Oh, never mind, I'll hit the 8 ball anyway. And this is now a goofy angle, and the 3-ball shot is easy, but you can't really play upper right or upper left because you're going to spin more into the 7. You want to get past the 7. So I played straight top on it, and I got really lucky to go through all this and basically perfect on the 5. And now what I'm doing is I'm trying to play this so I don't move the cue ball a lot. It's just, I got in my head that these 3 balls, the 7, 8, 9 are a triangle pattern. And how do I get it so I can just do the best angle I can? I want basically straighten in the 8 so I can stop it and play the 9. So roll this ball like a ball rotation forward. Then I look at the angle I need on the 8, and it's essentially the same thing. Either stop this or just roll it just a little bit forward, just so I'm on the other side of that, what they call the pocket line. Yep, I went a little bit forward, and now I can just do a stop shot on the 8, and the 9 is right there. I don't have to do anything, don't have to touch rails, don't have to move the cue ball. It seems like there were three easy shots, but there was quite a bit of thought involved in that, of exactly where I wanted to be, as opposed to just saying, oh, I can be anywhere in here and just kind of hit it and then figure out from there. So there we have it. I'm up 7-6. We are racing to 9 again, in case you haven't figured that out by 50-some minutes into this thing. I'm crossing the cue ball a lot on my 9-ball breaks, or crossing the 1 ball, I should say. So I'm breaking from the left, or from my right, hitting the 1 and crossing over to my left, and that's not good because that sends the cue ball right into that side pocket a lot. However, I also didn't leave him a shot. And you can tell he's a little bit frustrated, which, this happens in pool. We talk about the famous Alex Pegulayan match, which I think was Pegulayan versus Jeff DeLuna, where Pegulayan lost 11-0 and did not sink a single ball in a 9-ball match. Might have been 10-ball. I think it was 9-ball. That just happens. It's not like Alex Pegulayan's a bad player. It's just something that happens. Now, he's pushing out here, and I think he was trying to tie the 3 up with the 4 or get it in line with the 1. I'm not exactly sure what he was trying there, but Matt, we got to talk about push-out strategy. You can tell he's not really happy with himself. Understandable. Things happen. You make a couple bad shots and a couple bad games, and then it gets in your head, and then you're like, oh, I can't do anything right, and then speed is off. It's the way pool works. Human brain is a terrible thing. I got a little funny on this because I kind of wanted to be in an angle where I could go into the 8 to play the 4. So I got on the wrong side of the pocket line. Now the pocket line, if you draw a straight line from the ball into the center of the pocket, that's where that aiming line is, or what we call a pocket line. You want to be on either the right or left side of it most of the time. I wanted to be on our left side of it. Instead, I got on our right side of it, and because of that, my cue ball is going away from the 4-ball instead of into the line of the 4-ball, and I have this horrible cut that I have to take. And that was really the only shot I had. The 4 into the side wasn't possible because I couldn't have gotten over there, and I hit it pretty poorly. But again, I left him not a lot. He pretty much has to bank this in the lower left. Safety wise, I always like to leave him safety options to see if he can see those later on. I don't know what you can really do here. if you can play it, overcut the bank, play it kind of down on the bottom rail and get past the 8s, you might be able to use the 9 as a blocker as the cue ball comes around. It's touchy because I don't know if you can hit the 8 or not. And before we continue, we have Spider Patrol here, which you can't see, but some extra oomph into that. They like coming down from, I have one of those perimeter lights and LED lights. They love that shit, so. Or stuff, I should say. Sorry, kids. Now that we have the spider distraction out of the way, and that's just an extra sharking technique I have on Matt. See, I thought he was going to make it off the 5, and then it hit it again, and it kept it out, so it was a little bit of bad luck. I mean, he had a big pocket with the 5. He did hit, he did underhit the bank, but if the 5 wasn't there, he would have double railed it, and the cue ball or the 4 ball would have been right on the bottom rail, and I wouldn't have had a shot at it. So chalk that up to a little bit of bad luck. Now here, that looked more touchy than it was, because if I hit the point at all going in, I would have missed. I couldn't have done rail first because it wouldn't have gotten the 5. That was the only way I could have held that angle on the 5. This was, this is fine. I just kind of stunned it up to get a, all I need to do here is play some right spin with no top. Instead, I just crushed it. I really wanted to hit the rail and stop right off the second diamond. Instead, I hit it just super hard for some unknown reason. And I got this goofy angle now where now I have to play this and come 3 rails around, top rail, left rail, bottom rail for the 8 in the upper right corner. And I overcut it and scratched. I do not recommend doing it that way, in case you didn't realize that. But yeah, that 6-ball shot I just hit way too hard, and I shouldn't have put any top on it. It should have been just straight. I needed right to get to have the angle open up off the bottom rail or the top rail there to come out, but I didn't need to hit it that hard. I didn't need any top spin. I just got over anxious and crushed the Jesus out of it, which directly led to the miss. You can tell Matt's a little hesitant here because he's underhitting things now, which is what happens if you get, nerves, intensity, lack of confidence will do that. He's still got in line. All he has to do is hit this, pop it out a little bit off the rail. He'll have the 9 in the position's natural. This is, for me, it's a little bit of low left, just to help the ball slide in off the rail in case you hit it. He hit it a little, I don't know if that was more middle ball. Another tendency to do when you're struggling a little bit is to, like, how do I say this? Like roll balls more as opposed to putting firm stroke on it. So I think that just got away from him. He's right on the wall here, I think. He still has a doable cut. Just made it a little bit tougher on himself. But he nails it center pocket. That's a good confidence shot. And then we are tied at 7. Next game determines who is on the hill. So we are both on the hill to get on the hill. I really thought he was going to scratch right after the 1 ball there. That was amazing. Like when I was sitting at the angle I was in the chair, it looked like it was going right in after it. But he got a good break. 6-8 are a problem. The 3 ball is the biggest problem, though, because it doesn't go anywhere right now. And I think what I would do looking at the table from this side would be bank the 3 up into the 6-8 and leave the cue ball on the bottom rail. So all you want to do with the 3 is make sure it passes the side pocket and then get the cue ball down to this bottom rail. And you're going to be, if I can even see the 3 at that point, it's going to be a really, really tough shot with maybe traffic in the way. He's looking at it saying because the 6-8 is messed up, which from this angle, it's actually not a bad combo. And if you get right on the 5, you can actually break the 6 out. He's just saying I might as well just go for it. And I'm like, I'm always open to going for it, especially if it means I can win. But if he's, I'm always for. Let me rephrase that. I'm always for doing what you feel confident with. So if you feel confident for going with it, then I say go with it. If you're not feeling confident going with it, then figure out a safety. Even if it's a containing safety, or you just play like the 3-ball up to the second diamond on the right side and play the cue ball down anywhere because there's no shot there. There could be a bank shot, but you're playing relatively safe. Even if you do that, it's better than selling out the game going after something. Now we were talking, you can see our lips moving here. I don't have any of the audio of the room on because we have copyrighted music and all that kind of stuff going on, swearing, and there's children out there and things like that or something. I think what he needed to do on this shot though is I think he needed to cut it with some spin, with some right spin, so it's inside at this point. Hit a little bit lighter so the spin can take. Now that said, this is kind of one of the similar shot when I said he should just play it down into the rail and play, 2 balls, one on each side of the rails. This is kind of what that shot is because there's no ball for this pocket. Anyone that wants to try a combination on this shot, I am available to play at any time for any amount of money. What I'm doing here is I'm banking the 3 and I'm trying to leave the cue ball behind or in the middle of the 8 and 6. Unfortunately, the 3-ball hit the 7 and leaked out. Otherwise, this would have been like a devastating safety. If the 3-ball would have not hit the 7, it would have been down there by the 7 and he would have been in a lot of trouble here. As it is, he has a much easier kick. He can kick down to the bottom rail and hit the 3, sending it up table somewhere where it could get re-safe. I think he's looking at it to see if he can even cut it in. I don't think he can. I think the 6 is in the way. Let's see how this ends up here. It's still a good save because the 6 is right in his way. He's kind of bridging a little bit over the 8 and he has to kick at it. So I'll take this over, leaving the open shot any day. Yeah, he's definitely kicking at it. In 10-ball, I think you call this in the left side. In 9-ball, you don't have to call it, so it can make the 4 and break out perfectly to leave the shot of the 3-ball. And it make the 8-ball out of the way and he has the 3-ball. So that was a great shot. Matt, you did get a little pokey there on the follow through. You don't necessarily have, I think a lot of people feel they have to hit kicks harder than normal shots, and you really don't. I think you shot it well. You got the ball out of the way, you got the cue ball, you hit the ball and you made something, and in 9-ball, that's all you can hope for in situations like that. So it was definitely a good shot. Here, I think straight top, maybe a little bit of left will take him out for the 5. I like straight top just because it's a tougher for me to do inside on these kind of a weird shot. And I think that's what he did. I think he did straight top. He hit the 5 and he got good on it. So this is good. Here, just want to pop it off this rail, get it off the rail a couple inches so you get the 6. You don't have to bridge off the rail for the 6. Man, I think your bridge is a little farther away for this shot than it should be. But yeah, that's essentially what you wanted to do there, but you didn't want it to go this way. You just wanted to pop it straight out. So instead of any top on, I think just center ball there would have done it. He's a little goofy here. I love this shot. This is Niels Fine just had I just found his video from a few years ago on this, where it's essentially playing these stun shots back and forth and over. So depending on what kind of angle you can get, you're playing this in the lower right, obviously, and then you're stunning over to play the 7 in the lower left. But if you have enough angle, you want to actually hit the left rail and bounce out. I don't know if he has that much angle, but these stun shots are kind of like one of my bread and butter shots. He knows that, so it's probably making him a little nervous. And usually I don't talk and I don't offer anything unless he says something. So I think he's asking what he would want to do here. And I think he likes the follow shot more than the stun shot, which is fine. It's a matter of preference. It's great to be good at both of them. I like the stun over the follow. I'm better at it. I asked him if he can follow right into that 8-9 and if he can still get a shot, and it's risky. It does break up the 8 and 9 to make it easier to get on either ball, although they're right in the way. Of course, we got the chair in the way again. And I think that's when I said I would just stun this over all day, because it's really easy to get past 8. It's almost impossible to get stuck on the 8 when you're stunning this, because the natural angle, natural tangent line of the cue ball is going straight across the table. Problem is he missed it, and that's not going to be good. Yeah, I mean, he was decent on the 7. He could have, stop shot or rolled it up or drew it back or whatever you needed to do there. But yeah, just happened to miss that one. Here I'm just floating back for the 7. I want to angle on it so I can pop off the rail and get out. I didn't get it. So I don't know if I'm drawing all the way back for the side here or not. I don't think I am. Maybe I am. No, I am not. Just draw it out, kind of leave it straight on, and then 9-ball shot here. I was kind of worried because this looks like it's a little bit off angle, but I was worried that I couldn't get enough on it on the 8 to kind of just pop out a little bit back to the center table. But I actually got a lot on it. Didn't think I could get that much on it from that distance and that angle, but I did. So just navigate the side pocket and to the hill we go. I like putting draw on these just to cut off the angle. No question about a scratch there. Nothing, don't have to worry about anything at all. Took a little bit off that break just to see if I could control the cue ball a little bit better. And didn't make anything. Didn't look at the rack though, so I don't know if it was. But I think taking it didn't feel right when I hit it. I remember that. Breaking was weird, and we've had a lot of we're in Wisconsin. Humidity and temperatures and things have been all over the place lately. So the table is going to play different on whatever day. It was 77 or 78 out this day, so the air conditioning is on, so it's probably playing a little bit. Pockets are playing a little bit tighter than they would be otherwise. I did notice a couple breaks where the ball basically bobbled, and the corner ball bobbled in the pocket. I've been pretty consistent making that corner ball, so again, I'll draw the line and I'll end that. So here, just cut it in, come 2 rails over, exactly like that. He just overcut it. And sometimes, like on his last shot where he undercut the ball, sometimes your tendency is to overcut the next ball you're on. It's a problem we all face, and it's pretty typical in pool to do it. So here I want to draw back. Ideally, if I could draw back into the 6, that'd be like the great, perfect position to get on the 2. And I got really where I needed to be. Although the 3 is kind of goofy. Although it does go, so okay. So that was my plan all along. The 3 does go past the 9 in the lower left. Now that I see that, I remember that I was thinking that, but looking at the video, I had to jog my memory. So all I really need to do is bounce off this rail, come out a little bit. And instead, I just shot it straight in. I don't know why it didn't come off the rail. I must have been straighter than I thought. So my comment before about wanting to draw into the 6 was not correct. Probably wanted to stay on the top side of the 8. But this one I can just bounce right out. As long as I get enough draw on it to clear the 5, I'm good on the 4. So I want to get on the, if I got straight in on the 5, that'd be fine. Otherwise, I want to get on the bottom side of the pocket line of the 5 so that I can go away from the 5 to leave on the 6, which I did not do. Unless this was my plan, in which case I can either stun it over now, or I can come to the bottom rail with a little bit of right spin. In fact, I came all the way back for it, so that was pretty good. I like that shot. Little goofy angle, so I can either stun over, or I can follow over, or I can do a giant draw shot all the way back to where my chalk is and back for the 7. Or semi-draw shot. Same thing, same theory. A lot of guys want to let their stroke out there, so they'll draw it all the way back. I didn't feel I had to. This one just pops off the rail some low left, comes out for the 8. I am on the wrong side of the 8, but this is very, very workable. I don't really want to just draw it back because I'll be going up table, so I'm going to play this up to the top rail and straight back down. A little bit of right spin, mostly center ball. And then the 9 in the winner's formation position. Is that what this is called? Almost scratched. No, not really. Plenty of room. And I take the set 9-7, and my chalk is gone. Whoever decided round chalk was a good idea was... And of course, now all the chalks are going to be square with basically the same as Teom. But so there we have it. I win 9-7. Much more competitive match due to a number of misses and some weird safeties and just some weird table layouts and things like that. The next match is going to be really interesting. So I hope you can stick around to watch it. If you've already stayed all the way through this, I really appreciate it. Think about liking and subscribing, and leave me a comment and tell us how bad we are, how great we are, how stupid I look, or how great Matt looks, or whatever. And until next time, we'll see you.